City of Soundsville is the name of this podcast, and as always, I am your host, Shadow Streak, and joined by me is...
RJ.
That's right. That's you. Oogaloo galoo. Yeah, so welcome back to the City of Soundsville. We are finally, well, I say finally in terms of releasing episodes, but in terms of the number of episodes, we're actually not that far in. But we are now in season 2. How does it feel, RJ? Are you excited? Are you excited?
Oh my
to do
god,
season?
do you always talk?
Yeah, I do.
Stop that.
What are you going to do about it?
Let's have some silence for once. It's a talky podcast. This isn't... My problem with this podcast isn't... It's like it's not visual enough. Film is a visual medium.
That sounds like a you problem. So maybe you should just, go do something about it on your own time.
Coke. I will do coke about it.
You do what you want, I guess. But
since we're starting classy,
Yep.
Well, I guess.
Are you excited about season 2?
Heck yeah. Yeah, I feel like we did a lot of season 1 wanting to do season 2, which is unfortunate because season 1 is amazing.
Season 1 is a good season, but season 2 is where the show gets like, oh yeah, here we go.
Well,
here we go.
It's more that there's certain episodes like in a row that I really like. Like there's a certain consistency, and really I don't know, like the second half of season 2 is just perfect to me in a lot of ways, where it's like season 1, I think actually the second half of season 1 is pretty strong too.
The second half of season 1 is strong, but no, I concur. Season 2, and I did a video on this like in 2019 or something. Like season 2, I've gone back and forth between season 2 and 3 as far as which one is like my favorite, like which one I like the best. But this is like, yeah, the show at this point has its momentum, and now we are cruising.
What I would say about season
really
3
excited.
versus 2 is I would say, like, I don't know, because I feel like my natural pick is season 3, but like I think season 2 has more of the memorable episodes. So I think there are a lot of season 3 episodes that I like. Like there's stuff like Cop Out in season 3 that I really love, but like I don't think those are ones that people necessarily remember. Season 2 has a lot that people remember.
Season 2 is probably the most iconic.
Season 1, 2, and by the way, Powerpuff Girls has one of the best season 1s, I would say, ever.
Yes, yeah, I would say ever. Yeah, I would agree. Because like even season 1 has iconic episodes, but I would say well, I mean, I don't know. Season 3's got some iconic episodes though. Even season 4 has some iconic episodes.
Well, I mean, I guess like season 1 through 4 is really a package deal.
It really is. I mean, these are the 4 seasons that everyone praises and, we all care about the most. And, we'll get to the other 2 at some point. But, like...
Because, like we've said several times, like, I think we, as, like, super fans who have watched these episodes, like, I don't know, like, 100 times, probably notice a difference between the early episodes and, like, season 3. But to be honest, I don't think most viewers do. Like, it's not like other animated shows like The Simpsons where you're just like, okay, this is definitely season 1. I think, yeah, even Dexter's Lab, like, there's kind of a clear, like, delineation between season 1 and season 2 of Dexter's Lab, to me.
Oh, it's pretty apparent with Dexter.
Yeah, it's very, but like for this show, I think they sort of hit it right off the bat, and I think that's partially because the crew was more experienced than they were on Dexter.
Well, yeah, and it's like we talked about during season 1. Like Boogie Frights, for me personally, it really feels like that's the turning point, because you look at the first 4 episodes. Compare them to the last 4 episodes in the same season, and it's like, yeah, there's if you're paying attention, there's a noticeable difference there, and it's they're like what, 6 months apart in terms of production or whatever.
Yeah, and I would say a lot of them, like season 1 was like,
maybe
okay, that one was great. I didn't like that one so much. Not that I didn't like that one so much. It's mostly like it's just a little slow. If it came later, I'd like it a lot more. Like Mommy Furious and like, I don't know, Monkey See Doggy Do. I was like, which is strange because that's the premiere. But I was like, I remember I was just like, well, I don't love these, because they're so early in the run.
Yeah, I mean, my thing with season 2 and 3 is like, unlike season 1 where there are a couple episodes that I'm just like, not really a fan or whatever. Like season 2, there's only one episode I outright don't like. And season
which
3,
I like, so that's because I know
we'll get there
exactly
when
which
we
one
get
you're
there.
talking about.
We'll get there when we get there. In season 3, I'm like, there isn't an episode coming to mind that I don't like. I just think season 3 has the most forgettable episode of the entire show.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean it's a bad episode. It's just the most forgettable episode. And we'll get to that when we get to it too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a
here's
lot of the
thing.
times
I like Town and Out. I like that episode.
I
I
do
also
love
like
Town
A
and Out.
Very Special Blossom. So I'm excited to talk about those episodes when we get to those. But
too.
yeah, out of the first 4 seasons, there's only one episode I actively dislike, and it's in this season. So like I said, we'll get there when we get there. We're not there yet, but
That's, I guess, maybe this is like the most controversial season, because I know there are some that people like actively. Well, season 3, I guess, maybe too. I know there are some that people dislike in this season.
yes.
I even read. I remember
like
there was
that's
some.
true in all 3 of the
That's
first
true,
3.
because like there's something. Yeah, so there's an episode that always pisses somebody off.
Yeah.
But I remember reading TV tropes. TV tropes is kind of something where like people just say whatever they want. So like one person has an opinion, they just say this is the most hated like episode by fans. It's like not really. Like you're the only one who doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I remember like somebody did say that like season 2 is largely considered the worst out of the first 4, which I'm not really sure where that came from.
No.
And I think that's probably because they
No,
really don't
not
like
at
A Very
all.
Special Blossom. That's probably why.
Oh my god, it's not even a bad episode.
Yeah, well, we'll get to
Actually a
that.
very
We'll get
good
to that.
episode, but whatever. Yeah, we'll get there. So we're
Nobody
not there yet.
dislikes the pair that
So-
we have today, really.
Yeah, but also people don't really like love them either. They're good.
No, I think some stuck up in a way. I think is some people's favorite episode.
Really?
Not mine, but
Okay. I mean, hey, more power to them. I don't see it, but good for them. I
really
guess.
okay. Well, I'm interested to see what you think about this one.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it.
Let's just get
so yeah,
into
the first
it.
episode. The first episode of season 2 and the first episode of our pairing today that we're talking about is Stuck Up, Up and Away. The pun is pretty apparent. It's just what's that category in Wheel of Fortune where they take 2 phrases and they mash them together?
Don't ask me.
Okay, I don't remember. It's a category
I
in
haven't
Wheel of
watched the show
Fortune
in
where
years.
they'll take 2 terms and they'll just smush them together. That's what they did here. They took Stuck Up, and Away. So yeah, wordplay.
That's cute. It's
But yeah,
clever.
this episode, yeah, it's very clever. Like most episode titles in the show. So in this episode, we get to see a new character that never appeared in season 1, surprisingly, and it's a fun fact. I like to, kind of. I mean,
Do you want to
obviously
talk about
know this,
that first?
RJ, but-
Why is she in the theme song?
Yeah, we can. So basically, there's this. If you were paying attention during season 1, way back in the day, there was a particular character that shows up in the main intro that never appears in season 1 at all. And her name is Princess Morbucks.
Yeah.
Princess was planned from the beginning of the series, but she never actually appeared in the show until season 2. This episode that we're talking about specifically. Now, granted, season 1 and season 2 basically bled into each other because in terms of release from now granted, the way season 1 was released is they released the first 10 or the first 11 episodes weekly from November to the end of January or early February. And then they released the last 2 in the mid to late spring.
Yeah, and I mean,
And
it was a
then
different
season 2,
time.
it
so
was. Yeah. I know. I'm just saying,
It's
in
'cause,
terms of the crossover for the purposes of airing, they did an episode in. I'm actually pulling it up. So they did the Rowdy Rough Boys in April, and then they did Uh-Oh Dynamo in May, and then immediately 1 month later they did an episode in June, and then they started releasing weekly again in August. So actually, it's kind of all over the place.
So I think
Season 2
they
is.
probably started. Actually,
That's actually all over the place. Wow.
It's very interesting, right? Because the show got greenlit. Well, I shouldn't say greenlit. I say I'm actually I should say premiered. It premiered in November of '98, and they had these episodes airing by June. So I'm really thinking they might have gotten a second season pickup very early on.
I would be willing to bet that.
Yeah.
I mean, as was the case with a lot of other Cartoon Network. Granted, this was also the Dexter team,
Well,
so that probably helped them.
I think they were more confident because apparently I think Dexter they got I think they're playing the same thing for Powerpuff, which is Cartoon Network's thing at the time. A lot of episodes had 65 episode orders, but I think Cartoon Network had
I thought it was 52 for them.
It was 52
yeah,
for Cartoon
Network
Network.
was 52.
Yeah. So they produced
And that's
52
why-
episodes of Dexter. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why you look at shows like Dexter and Courage the Cowardly Dog's another good example. I don't think Johnny Bravo had 52, did it? Did it?
Johnny
Might
Bravo
have.
was kind of
I think it was a little shorter, but I know
it
that
was
one
short.
also
They
had some
cut. They
production
sort of
issues.
cut it. They cut Johnny Bravo short, and then I think they fired the creator, and then they did another 2 seasons. Yeah.
There were production issues with that.
No, I think it was just because he was. I guess Cartoon Network considered him inexperienced. There's nothing, Vampire Doubles is a good dude as far as I know.
Yeah, they were just like I said, just production stuff.
It's a shame. I prefer.
This isn't a Johnny
seasons.
podcast.
It's not a Johnny Bravo podcast. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Last note on that subject. I will watch through the whole show someday, maybe, but I haven't gotten around to it.
It's fun. Yeah, I like some of the first season ones.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Powerpuff. So yes, to your point, RJ, yes. So the show, like a lot of Cartoon Network shows around that time, 52 episodes were what they were looking for. Half hours, not 11-minute segments. Important.
Not like
to just
these
note
days.
That. Yeah. Which is what it seems to be, or at least it seemed to be with other Cartoon Network shows.
Right.
But in this case, yeah, so we're only I'm convinced, that like this show was basically, and like honestly, I'm also convinced that like I shouldn't even say I'm convinced. Like it's basically obvious because she's in the intro that there were plans for Princess from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was like, I don't know what the plan would have been if.
I mean, maybe
that's the important question to kind of ask, right? Is like, okay, what if it didn't get more than one season? Like, would they have not done a princess? Would they not have done a princess episode in season 1 then?
So
they just put her in the intro and that was it. Like, I feel like they had to have some foresight.
My theory is like she was just like they planned, like they did plan her, like I guess during the production of season 1, like her episode just didn't make it for whatever reason. I think that's what I think. Because now that I think about it, right? Oh, Dynamo was supposed to be an 11, so if Dynamo was an 11, maybe Princess would have been at the end of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think maybe if Dynamo was only the 11-minute segment, that maybe Stuck Up and Away could have been that other segment? That's
I think it's likely.
That's a good theory.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's ever been asked before.
Yeah, nobody remembers now, so it's too late. But
well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean,
you know what? To be honest, if
we might be able to like find out.
Maybe somebody answered it. Powerpuff.com was an old forum that people used to use. Well, Powerpuff.com was a fan site, but like it had like, do you know Powerpuff.com?
I remember it. Yeah.
It had some like forum named Girl Talk where like a lot of the people on the show would like talk on it. So like I'm sure there's an answer in there. Somebody has archives to those forums, please. A little bit got saved on archive.org, but if you really just have access to it, if you're doing the Lord's work.
RJ, you aren't on Blue Sky yet, are you?
Heck no.
Okay, you should consider moving over there.
Well, I haven't used Twitter in a long time either, so.
We don't say that name.
Oh,
I'm bleeping that.
Sorry.
I'm bleeping that. That name is banned from this podcast.
It's a bad word. Sorry.
It is a bad word, so I'm cutting that out.
But isn't on either.
Yeah, he bailed from that site. I bailed from that site. You should honestly bail. I mean, I think everyone should bail. I'd love to see that site just completely collapse.
It should. I think somebody asked Craig McCracken. It's like, well, why did you delete your? His reply was common sense.
RJ, you said it again. You can't say that word.
I didn't need to say. I have a problem where I have to say bad words. I was about to say it again.
Yeah, you can't. That word is banned from this podcast. You can't say it.
Yeah. Sorry, no more slurs from here on out.
Thank you.
It's not cool.
But yeah, so you should get on Blue Sky and then get Craig to talk to you on Blue Sky again, and then ask him what if that was a potential theory, if our theory might be correct or not. Because here's the thing, I asked him about Grubber like a year ago, and that was my time in the sun. So like my time has passed. My 15 minutes of fame are gone. He'll never notice me again. So
well, it's just because like to be honest, like and to be honest, I think Craig is probably producing a show right now, which I guess he wasn't last year. But yeah, he'd pretty much answer anybody's questions. I just would like make sure mine is a good question before
Yeah, but
asking. So I didn't ask him.
RJ, you got in his DMs.
I did.
You were in the man's DMs.
Yeah,
like,
but you know,
not a lot of people have that. Nobody has that in. You had it.
Well, it's a testament to Craig because he doesn't have to do that stuff.
No, I know. I'm just joking.
But
I just want everyone listening to this podcast, all 2 of you that still listen to it, that RJ got in Craig McCracken's DMs like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, he sent me a drawing that I've still never shown to the public. I look at it a lot though, so it hasn't gone to waste.
Okay.
Lucky you. I have an original. But were we talking about with Princess? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, she just might not have made it to season. She just might not have made it to season 1, and I'm assuming maybe they closer to the show coming out is when they did the theme song. I do know.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that before. That like usually the intro is one of the last things to be made for the first season of a show.
I guess it depends on the show, but like that's probably a good thing, right? Because like in season 1, people don't really even know what their shows are, so how can you make a theme song for it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like I've heard that. I don't remember seeing like an official source or anything. I just remember hearing that before.
I think it depends on the show, but I think Jim Venable did say I think his first like order of business on Powerpuff was to create a theme song, but that's different because score is made after like the animation.
Yes, I was gonna say usually the music is always done last,
right?
Like after everything else is done. So his first order was at the end of everything else, anyways.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think
but to that point, that makes sense because as we talked about the score a ton in season 1. I mean, he puts in that leitmotif theme of the girls into his various scores of the episodes.
Yeah. So so like I mean that's the musical style of the show because like there's some other shows where like I think they have a different composer for the theme song and or they get a band to do a theme song. The composer's somebody else, but like
I mean
this one is all kind of synced.
Ending credits theme.
Yeah, but like Jim did get to do the theme song, so.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, like to your point, like yeah, even this show did that. It just wasn't the opening; it was the closing credits theme.
Sure. Well, yeah, in contrast to like Samurai Jack or something, right?
Yeah,
and Jim also did the music for that show.
With a lot of shows, and that's what makes Powerpuff and Dexter so unique. Is like with a lot of shows, usually the opening and ending credits theme are either the same song or the ending credits theme is just a different version of the same melody and whatever. But like Powerpuff and Dexter have completely different credit themes from the opening. Like Dexter has, both shows actually have the instrumental opening where there's no lyrics or singing or anything. And then the end of Dexter and Powerpuff have like a vocal track. So, you look at something like Ed, Edd n Eddy and it's like, okay, that's just the whistle theme both times, but the second one's just a different mix. You look at Courage and, the opening theme and the closing theme have, just this like banjo, sound to it. But like the credits theme is just a different, like, I don't know if
Courage is different.
Portion is the right word, but like, it's a different part of the song or it's just a different loop or whatever. I don't know.
Well, it's the same song with like a different composition technically.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say is like it's you listen to the intro theme and like the narration's going over it, but you listen to the credits theme and it's like it's I guess composition's the right word. It sounds like it's just a different composition, but it's the same melody being played. Samurai Jack, that does that. So it's like Foster's Home does it too. So like, they're the Craig and Gendy shows that came after these ones did it. So it's like, this is I feel like a uncommon thing that happens with, cartoons, Yeah,
it's kind of underrated, like, thing to do with the theme and closing themes. Like, more cartoons should have closing themes.
Well, yeah. And the thing is the cartoons that the closing themes kind of went away as the network started to be like, actually, we're just going to play a commercial while the credits play on the left and the commercial plays on the right type deal, and they'd fade out the music of the credits theme and play the commercial instead, or it's a bumper for coming up next or something.
Well, I mean, they kind of did. I mean, the worst they had on like Cartoon Network originally was voiceovers, but they still played it. Which they'd be like coming up next, like a brand new episode of Tom and Jerry. It's like, yes, like I could wait to see the guide, asshole. Like you don't have to ruin the song.
Yeah, but it was also, in fairness, it was a different time where it's like, where were you going to get the guide? The newspaper?
Okay, and that was I wanted to get mad at the voiceover.
There was no... there was no like built-in TV guide, or there was no, sort of internet to look up well, maybe, I don't know when TV schedules really
No,
became a thing
it
on the
depends. It
internet.
depends because not
It might have
everybody.
been.
Some people might not have had that.
Well, yeah, because it's like when you think about it, it's like back then, like when I was a kid, and I think it would have still been a thing when you were a kid. It's like it was based, like the channel number was different. It was where you lived. It was a local thing. Like
Right.
Cartoon Network for where I lived was channel 67, and 67 is my favorite number. But then like where my grandmother lived, it was like 53 or something, and then at where my cousin lived, it was like what, 42. Like it was a different number depending on where you lived. So like it was a different time back then.
Okay, but next time I get mad at a voiceover guy, you just let me get angry at the voiceover guy.
Okay, so the narrator.
No, not him. I like him.
But
He's
he
cool.
is the voiceover guy.
No. I not all of them. Come on, narrator. I didn't mean that.
Voiceover guy. You said the voiceover.
I'm talking
guy,
about the
Jay.
Cartoon
And
Network guy.
If anybody is the voiceover guy, it's him.
Well, I mean that's true. Tom did do a lot of those as a narrator, so I like his. Okay, you know what? Yeah, hatred is a terrible thing, and don't say anything that you might regret. That's my advice to you guys listening. Don't make the same mistakes I did. I've hurt many people with my comments.
Okay, can we get into the episode now?
Yeah, let's get into the episode.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, can we just talk about why do the visuals look like that? I'm sorry.
Hang on. Let me give the synopsis first.
Okay.
I got to give the synopsis before we get into it. So,
all right, that's what we do, right? Okay.
Yes, that is what we do. I'm glad you've forgotten how we do things in season 2 of our podcast.
Yeah.
So basically this episode, Stuck Up and Away, it is the intro episode to Princess, as we explained. Basically, Princess comes to Pokey Oaks. She joins the kindergarten class, and she discovers the Powerpuff Girls because she didn't know they existed before. And she wants to be a Powerpuff Girl because she's a spoiled rich kid who always gets what she wants because her father's like a billionaire. And basically the episode is her trying to get in with the girls, and then eventually when the girls are like, hey, you can't be with us because you ruined this crime, she's like, well, then I'm just gonna beat you guys and become the Powerpuff Girl, and you all can stop. And then they fight. The end.
Right. Yeah,
I like to have it. I mean, a common theme with all my synopses that I take pride in is it starts out really strong, and then by the end, I'm just like, I don't care about the details anymore.
Yeah, you're really interested.
Yep.
Well, what do you think of this one?
I think it's good. It's a good episode.
It's a good episode.
I don't love it. It's not my favorite princess episode. It's a good episode.
It's a pretty strong. Good. I think this is.
Yeah.
I think it might be one of the best villain introduction episodes. I think.
I would say so. I would agree with that.
It's a very strong story. I know.
Yeah, I would say it's a stronger episode than like Mojo's introduction or Fuzzy's introduction for sure. Oh, yeah. Even him's introduction, honestly, I do think this is a good intro for a villain. Yeah. Okay. Well, because like Octo-Evil wasn't like, I'm not that impressed with him in Octo-Evil. I'm more impressed with him in Tough Love, but that's not his intro.
Got it. But, Fuzzy, I liked that one. I know you had issues with the Fuzzy logic.
Yeah.
Well, actually, now I'm thinking about it. The Gangrene Gang episode, there was Amoeba Boys. Yeah, this might be the best villain introduction, actually.
Of the mainstays.
The main villains, probably. Of course, yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about like
it depends on if you define Seduce as a main villain or not, because she does recur 2 more times.
Well, I like this introduction better than hers.
I love Mommy Fierce though.
Really? I'm not Mommy Fierce I like, but I'm not. I think on the podcast I wasn't that crazy about it either. It's good. It's just not, it's just slow.
How dare you?
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. This isn't the Mommy Fierce episode.
This isn't. About that. Yeah, well, this is Paul Rudish, and you can kind of tell because like his episodes have a very distinct style. He's really like, I would go far enough to say he's probably one of the best storyboard artists of all time, because like it's just like this episode is kind of a moving comic strip, which like that's kind of thing, not because of Paul, but like I don't know why this episode's animation is more limited than usual.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
So I think that's one of the things. I think like overseas they probably gave it to like the C team or something because it was such a great storyboard that I guess they didn't think it didn't need like help. That's what Craig always said about like he could never get an episode that looked great because they would send the A team on boards that weren't that great, and they'd send the C team on boards that were great. So Paul Rudish's boards are usually like amazing because Boogie Frights was also him, and that episode turned out very good.
And I love Boogie Frights.
Like that's so fun to look at visually in this one. Kind of, you could still see the strength of like Paul Rudish's board and his like his art style, but yeah, it's just like I don't know, like there's not that much. It really is just a moving comic strip. This looks like the most like an actual 60s cartoon. And I'm not even sure like if it's in a good way. Like yeah, like there is no animation in this.
Yeah, it definitely feels stiff for a lot of it.
Yeah. But you know, again, if it wasn't Paul Rudish doing the board, I think those animation problems would be a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not that the animation's bad so much as there's not a lot of animation in it. Like the characters basically like move their mouths and that's it for most of it. There's not a lot of antics in it. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess what I said, that's probably what happened with this one. You know what's also interesting? There's a character introduced in season 4 named Robin Snyder, and she's...
Yeah, I knew you were going to go there.
Yeah, that's not her in the class?
I think, personally, one of two things happened. Either it's a coincidence, which I could believe, but I'm more inclined to think that they used this design, they forgot about it, and then when they were reviewing for season 4 or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, I remember that design, let's redo it or something. But I feel like it's a coincidence, honestly.
It's a coincidence, but I do believe that they probably just didn't care either. Like it could go either way.
No, because honestly, like the haircut is slightly different, and it's a different outfit. It's not the same outfit.
Not the same. It's a very similar design.
It's a blue-eyed, brown-haired girl.
Yeah, and this time she's voiced by E.G. Daily.
Yeah, so like I honestly think it's just a coincidence. But I
love her like soft hippie voice, and like Princess just brings like terrible energy and like just insults the hamster.
Yeah, poor Twiggy.
Twiggy, like, you know, she gives Twiggy anxiety and Twiggy, well, you know, it's kind of sad talking about Twiggy knowing what happens to him.
Yeah, but that's not until season 3, so let's not.
Gosh, yeah. Twiggy's surgery didn't go so well.
So, I mean, honestly, like, Princess is a character. Let's talk about her for a second, because sure. I know there seems to be this, like, debate, or not really even a debate, but like a divide, where, like, a lot of people hate Princess, and a lot of people like Princess. And I'm on the team of liking Princess, actually. I think she's a very nice, like, I wouldn't even use the word foil to the girls, but she's a very, like, nice contrasting. Yeah. She's a very nice contrast to them, because unlike the Rowdy Rough Boys, which were literally just, here's the girls, but they're boys, Princess is like another girl their age in their class that's a villain, and her personality is completely different. She's spoiled. I mean, she's been described on record. She's Veruca Salt from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's what she's based on. You know, she's got that super, like, you know, just high snobby, like high class, like, hey, my daddy's a billionaire, he buys me what I want, I'm spoiled, I get everything, you know, life is handed to me on a silver platter type deal. And the girls are like from a normal, I won't even say normal, from a casual home with a single father that, you know, doesn't spoil them, which is like cool, because as far as we know, we never see Princess's mother.
Yeah.
Does Princess even ever reference a mother? I think she only ever talks about her dad, which again is a nice comparison, because the girls also only have a dad. I
think it's more about the Annie setup than anything else.
Well, yeah. But like what I'm getting at is like there's a nice parallelism there between the characters, because they both look up to their fathers, and their fathers raise them differently. Where Princess's dad spoils the heck out of her, the professor's like, no, you know, I'm going to raise you properly, manners, you know, this is what you can expect. You're going to be good citizens. You're going to save the day, that type of thing. And Princess's dad's like, here, go distract yourself with money. You know, he's not a parent at all. And you see that contrast come out in the way the girls behave with each other.
That's interesting. I didn't really think about like, you know, him in comparison to the professor, but like, yeah, Princess is just a great character, like just conceptually, because of course, yeah, she could get anything she wants because she has the money to do it. But like, what makes her supervillain is like the one thing she can't get is superpowers and to be a powerpuff girl. She can get superpowers actually. She just can't be a powerpuff girl. So that drives her crazy, and she's such a crazy brat at it.
Yeah,
and it makes
because
her
that's
super
the entire concept of her characters.
Yeah.
She gets what she wants. And the Powerpuff Girls, the reason, and it's such a compelling reason to be a villain, is like the girls are the one thing she can't have.
Right.
And that's a great motivation for her kind of character that allows like all these, you know, subsequent episodes after this one to take place. It's like, that's why I like Princess. I think she's a well thought out villain, honestly.
Yeah, and I think she's she's
funny.
funny.
Most of the time that the people that don't like Princess, the reasons are just shallow. It's just, well, I just don't like her. She's annoying. She's a brat.
Annoying.
Like,
and
that's the entire point of her character. That is the purpose. That is what she's meant to be. So if you don't like her, congratulations. That means she's a well-written villain, because that was the intent.
I mean, granted, if we're talking about cartoons, that happens with any cartoons. It's like you know, like if somebody's like mildly annoying, then it's like, oh, I don't like this character because she's annoying or like mean or something. But like sometimes annoying and mean characters work. Like,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say every time. I would not say every time. Right.
She works, like, you know, she doesn't get what she wants either. So like, and I also say like yeah, Princess is funny, and there are multiple things. I like that. One, like a lot of the villains are male, and this is like a female villain that gets to be like really, like, she gets to be really annoying. She gets to be a real asshole. She gets to be like, you know, stupid and just spoiled. Like she's just like, it's a lot of fun. And I would say too, they use her quite a bit in the later seasons. The later seasons aren't always that much fun, but like whenever it's a princess episode, I'm like, I don't know, for whatever reason, I'm just like, okay, this is a princess episode. I could tolerate this one when it comes to season 5 and 6. I'm not sure why, but like, yeah, I really like Princess. I think, yeah, she's one of, I would say she's one of the best, and I like how she's kind of becomes like their second to Mojo or him, I would say. Maybe she's behind him. I don't know.
I mean, I've always, like, when I look at the villain roster of the show, I do see it as like Mojo, him, Princess.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, and Jennifer Hale's voice for her is great. Perfect. It's just annoying. She's just screaming the whole time. I think she
and personally, if it were me and I had the choice between Jennifer Hale and anyone else to voice the character in any sort of potential other series, I would never recast her.
Yeah, it's like
that's just a stupid decision.
Recasting her is just like, hey, like, what if Princess just isn't funny? Let's make her not funny.
Yeah. And you know what I would definitely not do? I would definitely not, as a head writer, choose to voice the character instead of a professional that does an amazing job.
That's what kind of killed me about it. It's just like yeah, like no offense, but like she's kind of a professional voice actor, and she's like better at it. Like you didn't really do anything that original with it.
Oh, she's 100% better. She's infinitely better. She's better in every way.
And I know this is definitely one of
fair.
This is definitely one of Jennifer Hale's favorite characters, I know, because like
it's one of her most iconic for me.
She does a lot of great voices in the series, but like going by her main characters, like Sedusa's fun. She doesn't appear that much, and she's more of like a straight melodramatic villain. Like very interesting and great performances, but like when she appears, you know, her episodes are good, but she doesn't appear that much. Mm-hmm. And Miss Keene is like you know, she's like a good guy. She's very straightforward. Like, yeah, Princess is just, yeah, she's nuts. She's nuts, and she's very mean. So like I know she loved
when
that.
when the show allows her to throw tantrums is like the best, because she does such a good job at it.
Yeah, and the funny, Jennifer Hale does a lot of straightforward video games. I would say, like, in a way, like, by fans, I think that's what she's most known for by people who love her stuff. But she's like, you forget, she's really good at comedy and like screaming and that stuff, because she's Billy's mom.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, like, yeah, those are probably two of my favorite roles she's ever done. Like Billy's mom and Princess. Yeah, it's just funny, and yeah, gosh, her voice. Yeah, I think she was talking about this. Do you remember Rob Paulson's like Talking Toon podcast?
I do.
Yeah, I think she was talking on that. She was like, like I remember when I like first got the script for Princess, and it was just like a ton of screaming. It was like amazing. It was like you know, these very long monologues. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Paul Rudish, I think, actually came up with the idea for Princess in a story meeting. So yeah, because of Paul Rudish and Jennifer Hale, they just together created this like hilarious character.
Yep.
I love like the tantrum. The tantrum is so terrible that she has to her dad. Like,
yeah.
I always loved like I thought you loved me, but I guess not. If all I get is cheap junk.
Yeah.
Like that's
I
always
love when
stuck in my
she's
head.
throwing that whole tantrum, right? And then he just reaches in his pocket, hands her a wad of cash, and she's like, and she
Yeah,
just does
yeah.
that laugh.
That crazy. I don't know how you
Yeah.
even make that sound, but yeah,
Yeah.
I always loved that. Yeah, if I did that, you'd be very upset, and that would upset all the listeners if I tried to make that sound. But
Do it.
that's very. No.
Do it.
Ooh-hoo-hoo-hoo.
You didn't even try.
I can't.
Do
I
it.
can't. I can't. Like that doesn't
Do
seem
it.
appropriate. That's not PG.
Do it.
Ooh-hoo-hoo. I can't.
You're not even trying.
I can't do it.
Ah, Jay, how dare you?
Sorry.
It's okay. I'll never forgive you for this, but it's okay.
It's okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah.
No, I agree with everything so far.
Yeah, so I'm pro princess. We're pro princess.
Yeah, we are pro princess on this podcast. But yeah, as for like the rest of the episode, I mean, iconic moments for me, or like things that I enjoy. One scene in particular that I love, and it's actually fun to think about in retrospect, is when the girls get the call that the robbers are at the bank, and they show up, and they're like, "Oh, it's the girls," and they start shooting at them, and the bullets just bounce off of them. And it's like, oh, why do they always have to do this the hard way? It's like, okay, first of all, that's awesome, and it shows that it's like, okay, so the girls are invincible to bullets, but then it's like you think about it for a second, it's like, wait, what if Princess showed up with them?
that would help the people who don't like Princess. Yeah, she gets shot.
Yeah, it's because she comes in like 5 seconds after they stop firing their guns, and it's like, what if she was there 10 seconds earlier?
It's like that would change the episode. It's just like, oh, Princess.
Yeah,
she didn't ask for much. She just wanted to be a Powerpuff Girl.
Oh, damn! Like that got dark.
I mean, they do try to like blow her up. So.
Yeah, I mean, they strap a bomb to her.
I mean, that's
like,
more distracting the girls, but
no, I know, but still, they literally almost blow her up.
There are just so many moments with Princess just because she's so rude and annoying.
Yeah,
like I just love like I'm Princess and my daddy buys me whatever I want, and like they're just like the girls are just like, what the heck?
Well, that's because she's not.
Yeah, she no. That's like that was probably like
social.
the first time she was ever told no.
Yeah, well, she's not. I mean, that was as far as I could tell, like her first day at public school. So like,
yeah,
she wasn't acclimated to socializing with other kids. You know, she's very much in the mindset as a lot of kids are, in the mindset of like, oh, the world revolves around me. I'm the center of the universe type deal. Because that's what a lot of kids go through growing up, and that's a big and important part of development when you're a young kid, is like teaching kids like, hey, you're not the center of the universe. The world doesn't revolve around you. And unfortunately, some people eventually become an adult and still have that mindset.
And they sort of let her off very easy. Like not so much Buttercup.
Yeah.
Buttercup like laughs in her face basically. But
why I oughta.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. That makes me laugh all the time. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
It's like, look at me, Powerpuff Princess. It's such a funny voice performance.
Yep. Yeah.
It's everybody loves a joke like, oh yeah, tell that to Batman.
Yep.
Because apparently you can't just buy superpowers. I think I see that on the internet a lot. Like, tell that to Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely an iconic line from the episode for sure.
Oh my God.
I think the most iconic moment from the entire episode though is the moment that so Princess showed up the first time and she had like, it's also interesting. So like the first suit design that she wears is actually like her kind of quote unquote mainstay design. She gets a second suit and that one never really comes back, which like granted makes sense because for starters, I like the first design because it's like it's the girl's design but yellow, but it's slightly different, and I appreciate, and this is what I always appreciate, is like it's almost the same design, but if you pay attention, Princess's like shirt or whatever, there's like an angular point. It doesn't go straight to the leg the way the girl's design does. There's that little point at the bottom. And then I mean obviously Princess has the tiara on her head,
and she kind of overdid it, right?
Herself.
She's like
distinguish herself from the others, but that's the whole point. Is like because she's like I look like you, but better. You know,
better, yeah.
Like,
it's just like yours, except better.
It's like because okay, so Blossom has the bow as like the significance of the leader or whatever, and Prince is like, yeah, but I've got this shiny gold tiara, you know. So like That's kind of the idea, and I like that the design for her a lot. And then the second suit she comes in is just like kind of this plain just gold metal sheen, outfit or whatever, and it's like it's fine, but it's like it's kind of plain. Why do I keep bumping my mic? It's kind of plain. So I definitely prefer the first design.
Well, it's a good final boss outfit.
Yeah, and where I was going with this is probably the most iconic scene from this whole episode is after Princess kind of whoops Buttercup and Bubbles and knocks them to the side, and she shoots her laser at Blossom, and Blossom does the head tilt thing, which is like total Dragon Ball reference that the whole internet just loses their minds over that, for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. It's silly things. It's like I like some things that the internet latches onto from the Powerpuff fandom and like the show and whatever is like, it's just kind of amusing to me because it's like, I mean, it's cool, but like, is it really like that big of a deal?
Well, I like that people are discovering that, because I think some people are sort of like discovering, like some people are discovering what the concept of Powerpuff Girls is. Like, it's like, oh, there's a lot of action in this show. Like they're just now realizing that, or maybe they didn't remember from when they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I do like the Renaissance. Like basically, like, people like the Dragon Ball stuff. People like, there's a lot going around, especially that scene in Candy with Dandy of Mojo getting beat up. Like, it's like, if there's something that you're gonna oversaturate, I'm glad it's that stuff. Because like that's just the concept of the Powerpuff Girls. Like, I think people are just understanding that they're not just cute things that go on backpacks. The point is that they're cute things that that are superheroes that fight.
They're violent.
Yeah. Like, people are just like, the wheels are finally turning on their head, and they're just like, wow, that's pretty funny and cool. So I think that's why that stuff is going viral all the time.
Yeah.
So, it's cool.
But yeah, I mean, I do enjoy the final fight overall. I mean, it's cool to see Blossom just kind of have the one-on-one rivalry with Princess where, because it's like, it shows Blossom, like, I think it's one of Blossom's finest moments, because it's like, there's this stuck-up, snobby brat, and like Buttercup is very easy to get riled up, and she does, and she attacks Princess in a more aggressive manner, and Princess is able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, Buttercup is ready
Bubbles
to whoop her,
Bubbles just kind of takes offense to a snide remark that she makes, and Blossom doesn't let that stuff sort of get to her. Like, she stays focused, she's serious, she's like, all right, this girl is stepping on our turf and I'm not having it type, so
well,
she's
I mean,
like,
right, this is kind of like, that's why this is a good episode too, because like it's great writing that, like, each character kind of has their own arc in this. So it's not like the girls aren't just like one like, they're just not one group. Like, Buttercup has her opinion on Princess, Blossom has her opinion on Princess. Like, she's basically like, she's very cute how she rejects her. Like, it was like, what did she say? Like, thank you for her interest in her group, but like, she kind of denies her. Yeah. And like, she says she doesn't know how to make friends and we should give her a chance. Like, she's been very mature. So I think that's probably, I think that's why Blossom should be the one to like kick her butt, because like, I've like, she's been very patient with her. She's been being really nice and mature. She's been being the bigger person the whole episode. She didn't even snap at her when like, she let the bank robbers get away. She's very nice about it. So like, yeah, now she's ready to kick her butt and teach her a lesson. So that's great that they all have arcs, because like, it's very easy for the girls to just be like, have one thought about everything. Even like, Bubbles is naturally friendly, but even she had the opinion that she was rotten to everybody, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's of course it's cute that Miss Keene didn't want them to fight in the classrooms. Like, Princess respects that. she'll just beat them up outside.
Yeah. Trying to think if there's any other thoughts I have.
Well, I just want to say that whole fight, this is like, it's a lot of cool like action storyboarding. So like, we still feel the rush of it having action, even though there's not a ton of animation, as we've said. I really like those I really like the shots of like Buttercup and Blossom punching. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
there's
the rapid, fast.
Yeah, the rapid
like, cutting and
they're using, I think, what that's called. They're using like a dry brush on the cell, so it's not like regular ink lines. They used to do that a lot in Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Obviously, that's a lost art because they, like, because of digital. But yeah, they were using a different technique with that. If you look at those.
Another small detail I just remembered that I really appreciate is when Princess is in the air and she falls to the ground and it says jerk in the cloud for a second.
That's right. Which has like a double meaning, basically.
Yep.
I do love the voice performance, deep in the bowels of Townsville.
Yeah.
It's just like him singing like for no reason, which I love. Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's a very solid one. So like I'm glad this she didn't make it to season 1 because it's a great way to start off season 2 with a new like major villain.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
And you know, this is it's no Roach Coach. You know, she's gonna stick around because there's a lot more to her.
Yep. Like I said, comparison to the Rowdy Rough Boys, she's better in every way.
Yeah, she's one of the best.
So yeah, cool. All right, should we move on to part 2?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. So season 2, episode 1B is Schoolhouse Rocked. That one's pretty obvious what that pun is on. But basically in this episode, the Gangrene Gang are discovered by a truant officer and forced to go back to kindergarten, even though they're teenagers. It's a very wacky concept. Basically, the Gangrene Gang terrorize the Pokey Oaks kids all episode until the girls beat them up at the end. This one is okay. It's okay.
I mean, this episode isn't groundbreaking or anything, but I like it. It's just a good gag driven one that I like a lot.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this episode.
Yeah, I mean, as far as plot is concerned, there's really not a lot of plot to go off of. It really, like you said, it's basically just like, here's a concept episode. We're gonna put these characters in a room, and this is what they would do.
Yeah, it's like it's a funny gag cartoon. That's and I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot for that.
Yeah, so like, there's no sort of like character progression or anything like this is purely just like a, you know, here's a slapstick for 11 minutes type deal. So one thing I do appreciate let's just start with the intro sequence. So I like the beginning of this episode where we see the gang just kind of hanging out, and you've got like, you know, the robot horse with the background or whatever. I don't know what you'd call that machine, but you've got that, and then like there's the arcade, and you see, you know, the Bubbles versus Fuzzy Lumpkins arcade machine or whatever, like fun stuff like that.
Everybody wanted that game to exist.
Yeah, like it was such a
why didn't that happen?
Well, they made Chemical Extraction.
No, right? They should have made an arcade game.
No, they made Chemical Extraction.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think when the show came out, it was sort of like, we were sort of past the heyday of like arcade games, right?
I mean, arcades were still around in the 90s, but they weren't as popular as they were in the early 80s.
I think if it came like early 90s, I think they would have made something.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, arcades were still around when I was a kid. Like, I remember going to arcades. Granted, they were mostly in shopping malls, or a bowling alley or a movie theater or something, but I remember going to them a lot as a kid. So like, they were still around. Again, not the mega popularity that they hit in the 80s, but yeah, so like, that was fun to see. And then this guy comes up, Jack Wednesday, and I just love his whole spiel because he's a fast talking, just like no nonsense kind of grumpy looking dude.
He's voiced by Greg Berger.
But his dialogue is just so amusing.
Yeah, he takes his job very seriously, and I just love this like we ain't never gone to no school. It was like, you're kidding.
Yeah,
and I mean, obviously, this is like such an obvious story idea. You have to do this. Like, it's like yeah, why aren't the green drinking hanging in school? And then you get this.
Yeah, but like the joke of it is like, oh yeah, but we're sending these teenagers back to kindergarten,
yeah, which is the worst idea ever.
They've never passed any other grade.
Yeah, they're so stupid.
All right, let me see here. So like.
Yeah,
let's see.
That guy it's credited, the computer animation is credited to a man named Lincoln Cam. I can't really find anything about him, but that's very cool because yeah, they decided not to do it with cell animation, so you get this thing that actually looks like an arcade game. And I do like it's very fun that like Tom Kenny is like, he kind of has like cheesier acting intentionally to fit an arcade game. It's a very fun sequence.
Yeah. Yeah, so like his whole spiel, like I like, yeah. So his whole spiel's like, what's a truant officer, you ask? Well, the only way to answer that is to be smart. And you boys aren't very smart, are you? Didn't think so. So how do you become smart? That's right, you go to school. And what would you learn if you went to school? Well, for one, you'd learn what a truant officer is. Now, can you tell me what a truant officer does?
And they just keep staring at him.
They say nothing. And he's like, okay, I'll tell you once more, but this is the last time. A truant officer's job is to make sure punks like you go to school.
And they just cut to him. He's still talking.
Yep. Zip it. I was being sarcastic, which is another big word you'll learn in school, but you wouldn't know that considering you've never attended one of this country's great educational facilities, which is a thought that just sickens me. It's like...
yeah, that's what I just like. Yeah. It's just a lot of fun gags in this one that I really liked. You know, I always found this one really funny. I just love when they're doing introductions
and the only cure for And when I'm sick, the only cure for my ailments is for me to do my job.
Yeah.
So stupid.
He's just
Oh
so
my
obsessive.
God. Yeah.
Like he's like he considers himself very heroic for what he's doing.
Yeah.
And yeah. He sort of has vibes of Bookman from Seinfeld. I wonder if they were like taking from that. I know Gendy's a huge Seinfeld fan. But yeah, I also the Gangrene Gang is doing their introductions, and I always loved Arturo's like, "Don't mess with me, okay? Okay."
Yeah.
And you're just answering like he didn't say it like okay. He's like he said it like he's answering his own question, which I think is really funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so fun.
Yeah.
Because like it's just
He's
Jeff
funny,
Bennett
man.
and like Tom Kenny doing most of these, so it's like
Yep.
so God, this must have been a fun recording session.
That's basically the intro, and then we kind of just move right into the rest of the episode is just them in the classroom. So like we get to see how the Gangrene Gang basically reacts to a couple different scenarios: show and tell, snack time, and arts and crafts and that sort of thing. And it's like, yeah, okay, we're gonna see these bully teenagers bully all these kids,
yeah,
and do
just
these,
torture kindergartners,
horrible
yeah.
things to them. And Miss Keen's just going to be oblivious to it. And the girls are going to be the straight men that are basically like, hey, what's going on? Like, this isn't okay. And they just keep getting shut down.
I mean, Miss King can be frustrating, I'm sure, to some people in that way.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, genuinely, like, I understand the point of this episode is for comedy. But, like, here's my thing. And this is a genuine criticism I have against everything is you can still write and frame an episode like this in a way that it isn't obvious to the teacher what's going on. Unfortunately, I feel like one thing that does bother me is like Miss Keen's like, I've seen no evidence of them doing anything. I'm like, what are you talking about? You literally saw them shoving.
Yeah, you literally saw it with your own eyes
in that one child's mouth. You
want another one?
Saw it.
Which is that's a funny shot. But like, yeah, like I think.
And it's like,
I think the worst is
like what it should have been, and what a lot of other cartoons will do with scenarios like this. Hey, heck, look at for as much as people hate Foster's, this episode from Foster's, everybody knows it's Bendy. You know what that episode did? Every time Bendy was about to get caught, he would cover himself.
Right.
And the Gangrene Gang doesn't do that. If they like when the girls flew up to the Miss Keen and it cut over and the boys were just sitting there at the table, like, hanging out, not doing anything. Like they didn't like that would be a misdirect for the teacher to not believe the girls. Now, granted, also you can just call on the and question like, okay, why doesn't Miss Keen trust the Powerpuff Girls? The pure-hearted heroes over these random teenagers that just showed up. Like, but you're not supposed to think about that because this is a comedy episode. It's not meant to be taken seriously. So no. That I'm not gonna hold that as a criticism, but I will hold the other point as a criticism because it's like you did see them.
No, I agree with what you're saying.
Here and say you didn't.
My thing is, I think what you're saying, it's like it makes Miss Keem come off as sort of dumb, which she's not really supposed to.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's in the wrong. And it's like that's a detriment to the episode because it could have been framed in a way where she wasn't doing anything wrong because she was going off of what she was witnessing. And unfortunately, the episode had her witness wrongdoing. And so it goes against her credibility and her point, which is like, again, that I feel like that could have been done better. Does it bring down the episode? Not really, no. I'm not losing sleep over it. I don't think the episode's horrible because of it.
No, but what you're saying is right.
It could have been done better. That's all.
Because like, yeah, you are literally like you're letting your classroom just get harassed basically of like actual kids.
Yeah, and like honestly, like for example, my favorite sequence of the three is actually, I don't want to use the word coincidentally, but for lack of a better term, show and tell.
Yeah,
because that's the one where the girls are in the wrong because the gang didn't do anything. Like you see Grubber body more off screen, I guess, but Grubber does some body horror.
Yeah, can we just talk about that? That is so funny.
Snaps all his bones. Oh, it's my favorite sequence. Like I said, he literally just like cracks all of his bones and rips his limbs together and just bends and twists and contorts. And you see all the kids' reactions to it are just horrified.
That pan is so hilarious to me.
Yeah. And then it just ends with him standing up straight and he looks very neat. His hair is combed. He's standing up perfectly, like his back isn't arched. And he's like, hello there. I'm Grubber. Very nice to meet you all. And then he just cuts right back. To his like awful rat fink form. And it's like, oh man. I love that sequence so much.
And I just love the voice delivery. Then, like when he's like, Billy scares everybody with his one eye. which is like,
I
that's
was
funny
gonna say
enough,
Big
but like,
Billy being a Cyclops.
yeah, she's like, I had no idea you were a Cyclops. And she's like, yeah, I got one eye. Which I just,
yeah, I got one eye. Yeah.
so dumb.
But I love Jeff Bennett's voice for Grubber though, because he's like, hello there, I'm Grubber.
Grubber.
Very nice to meet you all. It's like so calm and just chill, and then it's like, okay.
I know, yeah,
but it's also fitting because it's a character trait that we saw in a previous episode where Grubber does different voices.
Yeah, he does do different
multiple
voices.
episodes actually. He does it in Butter Crush and he does it in Telephone.
And he he has talents too, because like he's great at cards as established. Yep. Sort of, even though he's kind of cheating, but but yeah, of course we love the they think Arturo has like a pocket knife and it's a comb.
Yeah, and it's just a comb.
Yeah,
he's got a deadly comb. Yeah,
and I guess these 5-year-olds must have seen their share of pocket knives, I guess. And there's the pace throwing scene.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
which is fun enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's just like a fun sequence. It's like again, it's kids being abused, but like it's I'm sorry, it's very fun to see these kids get abused with dodgeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a very energetic sequence that I like. And I like one visual gag I like is like there's one ball and they hit like 4 kids in a row or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
And then Miss Keene very true to herself, doesn't want them to fight her, but like, I guess if they play dodgeball it works.
And that is something that I do like. It's like just a little bit of consistency between the 2 episodes because they both take place at school. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but you see in this episode too that she's like, yeah, no fighting in the classroom, which is the same thing we saw in the Princess episode.
Right. And I mean, I guess it sort of redeems Miss Keene. It's like, okay, so she's kind of cool. Yeah. But like, I just like they probably shouldn't have wrote her like, actively seeing them bully the other kids. Because it makes her come off as very dumb. Yep. And she's not a dumb character. And yeah, like I do love we all love the sequence where like the girls beat them up with dodgeballs. And yeah, getting hit with a dodgeball by the girls hurts just as much as being punched by them. Yep. Like that is so awesome. That whoops sorry. like Ace is just injured horribly. Uh-huh. Like
it's great.
It's really funny. I wonder like who's the most satisfying villain to like get their butt kicked, like, because it might be Ace, maybe Princess, but Princess doesn't get her butt kicked that much, so like
no she doesn't
we don't see that much. Like Mojo is funny, but like I don't know that like he's like asking for it all the time. I don't him is a little funny, but like I think
you could
Ace
argue the Gangrene Gang is most
Ace
deserving.
Like especially Ace is such a jerk. It's just like like good enough for you. Especially because the Gangrene are basically, they're just delinquents like around to cause problems for people. Because they find it fun. So I just like, I love seeing Ace getting his bones broken. It's very funny, that the sequence are like this is a lot, like Bubbles throws a dodgeball at Grubber and Little Arturo, and then like, they bounce in Big Billy's stomach and they hit them again. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, again, like, Miss Keene gets redeemed a little bit because she's cheering the girls on for violence. And as you know, this show is about like, beating people up is cute and good. Yeah. And yeah, like there's just like from the model team, I know they signed a lot of what they called special poses for this, of the boys getting like messed up. So anyways, with progression with the story, like, Jack Wednesday comes back and he's not happy at what he sees. Yep. Which, I mean, to his defense, like Miss Keene kind of fails them. But then Jack Wednesday shouldn't have sent them here anyway, so... And, yeah, Miss Keene pelts him with the dodgeball, kind of is just like, shut up.
Much deserved.
Yeah, Miss Keene has a little attitude to her that she would do that, so that's fun. So I'd say by the end you like Miss Keene again, but, like I wouldn't blame anybody for finding her annoying in this.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's, yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get another episode with Miss Keene later in the season. That's kind of like this. Even though nobody has complaints when in Eyesore where she was like Miss Keene, oh god, she had a terrible reaction to the heat in Eyesore. Right? But that was heat makes people crazy. By the way, I don't dislike that sequence. I think that sequence is hilarious. You know what? Is this the first time we hear the Pokey Oaks theme? I don't think it's in Pace Makes Waste.
What? I feel like it might be.
Yeah, because I don't like if you think about it, they weren't in kindergarten that much in the first season.
Vicious.
They were not in the classroom that much.
Bubble Vicious plays the pilot song.
Right.
Yeah, I think this might be the first time. Yeah,
I love it. It's just such a cult. Like it's a very fun theme. I love it. One of my favorites. Then I probably say every piece of music in the show is one of my favorites, but I really like the Pokeyokes theme. And it's cool because on the city of Soundsville and some of the chemical extraction stuff that has it without the audio remix. Like this isn't one that's been like, I guess, remixed to death. Because I know some of it, like even in chemical extraction, it's like, yeah, well, they like the remixes are fun, but like they sort of ruined a little bit of what made them appealing originally.
Yep, I agree.
So I don't think like the mayor's is fun, but like that's not really they really changed that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess they decided it wasn't interesting enough on its own. But like, yeah, Pokeyokes really is like the same as it is in the series, more or less.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, Jim Venable's getting to do a lot of like new cues and themes in this episode. But yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about this, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, same here. Like I said, it's an okay episode. It's fine. I don't
funny.
hate it. I don't love it. It's all right. But yeah, okay, let's go ahead and transition over now into the Q&A section. Well, I don't know if we have a question at all. I think we just have some comments.
All right, man.
Talk about them. So let's see. So we got two comments, on the latest, or no, this is episode 11. So this was Mime for a Change and Just Another Manic Mojo. We got two comments from viewers who basically say they don't agree with the ending of Mime for a Change and they think Rainbow doesn't deserve it. So one comment is from AJ Pearson Toon Paradise. They say, from my perspective of the girls beating up Rainbow, they didn't see him get transformed by Bleach, so maybe they assumed he was another villain. I don't know that works because they see him get untransformed.
Yeah, they do.
Blossom literally blasts him.
And if you watch the episode, it doesn't look like they're not super suspicious of him until that last shot before they beat him up. So if you don't like that ending, I really do agree with you, even if I thought it was funny. Technically they shouldn't have done it, but
yeah. Here's another thing I thought of though while I was thinking about it a couple weeks ago or whatever, which is like, we're going to come back to this subject when it comes down to A Very Special Blossom. But at the end of the day, the law is the law. And regardless of your intentions, if you break it, you are punished for that. That's why the law exists, and that's how the law works.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, Sheriff, but
I'm just saying, like, if citizens and society didn't uphold laws, what's the point in having them?
So Shadow Streak believes in hard punishment.
I don't believe in hard punishment, but I believe in the law being followed correctly and accurately, the way that it's designed and agreed upon by society. Circumventing the law by anybody in any capacity is not acceptable. Yeah,
well, I mean, in the terms of the story that they were doing, they really I have to agree that they shouldn't have done it, but I also think it is funny as a cartoon. Like the humor of him getting beat up is funny, but they technically story-wise they shouldn't have done it. He broke the law, but they should have just kicked the mime's ass instead of turning him back and kicking his butt later. That's just mean. They could have
So what you're saying is, don't give him his free will back. Keep him as the mime. Beat him up and send him to jail, and he never gets to become Rainbow ever again, and that makes it acceptable and okay.
Yeah, but I don't understand that.
So they should fail as heroes.
Well, they kind of feared, but why? I don't understand. Why would you turn him back, let him sing on stage that he's back, allow him that moment, and then beat him up and be like you messed up, Rainbow? Which again, obviously, once again, I love it, but
because it's
technically
funny.
They should. Yeah, I love it because it's funny, but technically that's not where that story should have gone.
Maybe the girls were just like, what is this guy doing? And they weren't sure how to respond immediately to him just popping off.
Well, that's the thing, because the ending is a joke. It's like, what if we just did it the regular ending, and it's like a fun dark joke, but it's a fun twisted humor, but you kind of see that that's tacked on because just looking at the shots visually, Like the girls are like in support of Rainbow turning back. If you just look at the visuals, then you see that tacked on ending where like he's saying I'm back, Rainbow the Cloud, and they sort of look at him in shock. They weren't shocked before, but they were shocked then. So it's like, yeah, they sort of tacked that ending on. The ending shouldn't have been there, but it was funny when they did it. So yeah, if you don't think Rainbow didn't deserve it, he kind of, well, interestingly enough, I don't know, maybe I sort of agree with you too, right? Like maybe he sort of in a way deserved it, I guess, but like I don't know, not like that. It doesn't mean that they should have done
So
it.
like,
You know what I
so
mean?
like, let's say that we have another character, right? We have a character and they are mind controlled, and the mind controller has them do a bunch of stuff, right?
Sure.
In that context, you can make the argument that the mind controller should be responsible for the actions of the person they were controlling. And I would 100% agree with that. But in this case, there isn't somebody else pulling the strings. There isn't somebody else like behind the curtain, so to speak, that's forcing Mr. Mime to do these things. So when it comes down to the fact that like a bunch of people were hurt by this guy, we're just supposed to just let that go.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, so like
that's why I like this episode so much, because it introduces a very morally gray, it's a question about like it's a morally gray scenario where, and maybe that was intentional because it's black and white episode. But again, it's like, okay, what if this person possessed you or beat you up while you were, or whatever, and it affected you in a very significant way? You would just be fine with like, oh, okay, we'll just forget that ever happened.
I mean, yeah, sure, but like, again, like it wasn't this like it didn't come off in the episode as commentary. It came off as a mean joke, which it is. So like, I understand why people didn't like it.
I know,
yeah.
But I'm just saying, if we're gonna have the discussion about the ending and how we interpret it.
Well, yeah, sure, but I'm like again, it's like, I don't think that they should have done that to him. They shouldn't have, like, even if they're in the jail, they didn't have to beat him to a pulp on stage.
Yeah, but like this is what I'm saying, RJ. This is what I'm saying. Okay, regardless of what their intent was, and regardless of whether or not they should have done it, this is what they did. Let's talk about it and how to interpret it and different interpretations, and let's branch off of the conversation that's being had. Just because the original author didn't intend for that doesn't mean it can't be discussed.
Yeah, but I only see it how the authors intended it. Like I've always viewed that scene as sick humor and nothing more to it. It's not really a comment. I wouldn't say any of the episodes are really a commentary on the criminal justice system. I was just like,
there's nothing wrong with your perspective. It's just, a very important facet of art in any form is the discussions and thoughts and ideas that stem from it. Regardless of what the original creator intended when making it, the ability and capability for people to converse and discuss and kind of develop ideas and thoughts about these different scenarios is one of, personally, the most beautiful things about art, and why I appreciate art so much in whatever form it comes in. And that's what I really enjoy about, again, like this show or any show for that matter. And I don't think that, regardless of whether the show's really amazing or really bad, or if it's a show or a movie or a song or a podcast or whatever, that anything can have a deeper conversation about what's being discussed, regardless of whether or not the original intent is there.
Sure, but I think in this case, there's really not much to talk about with this one.
I have a hard disagreement with that statement. I think there's plenty to talk about, but
yeah, I'm not seeing the layers in it.
Very, very intriguing, a very interesting conversation about, okay, let's talk about the morals of this scenario. What is right or wrong? The correct answer is there isn't one. It's all up to people's interpretations. And that's why, again, I've said it before, there's nothing wrong with people saying this is an awful ending and that they don't agree with it. But that's not correct, in the same way that my interpretation isn't correct. There is no correct answer. That's the point. That's why it's such a fascinating topic of conversation. And that's why I like talking about it so much, because it's like, the point of it for me, I'm not trying to have an argument with anybody, and I'm not trying to say you're wrong and I'm right. Like, that's not it. It's just, I love having the counterpoints and the ideas of like, consider this perspective, consider that, consider how this affects that and this affects that. And the thing that I love about Powerpuff Girls is, yes, if you want to look at it from the surface level, sure, was the show trying to be this deep philosophical thing? No, not at all. but the show is crafted in such a well-made way that you can have those discussions and use the episode as a basis to talk about those things.
Well, I mean, sure, when it's a perfectly crafted episode, yes, but like if it's an ending like that, which it's not really a great ending. It's a funny one, but it's not a great one. There's not much to talk about. I would understand deeper. I would understand deeper conversations like this if it was an episode like Bubble Vicious or like, I don't know, or the Rowdy Rough Boys, but like not that one.
Yeah, I'll agree to disagree.
We'll have to agree to disagree, but you know,
I just find it so fascinating because again, it's like how do you like, and I'm not saying you specifically, I'm talking in like not third person, but like whatever.
I know.
Omniscient, whatever. But like, how do you know, it fascinates me how different people respond to, or how people respond differently to this ending, because it's like, that's the whole point, is like, it's all a level of, okay, what do you consider morally right and morally wrong? Different perspectives obviously feed into that, but it's like, imagine if there is a scenario like this where somebody couldn't control themselves for whatever reason and they hurt a lot of people, and then they come back to themselves and they're like, hey, I messed up. Does that just get rid of what they did? I mean, I'm on the perspective of no, we shouldn't forget what happened because a lot of people were affected by that, but other people are willing to just forgive and forget. And it's like, that's why it's such an interesting conversation. So that's why I think the ending is very thought-provoking, because if we did have the alternative ending of, oh yeah, they saved the day and that's it, then yeah, I would actually say there is nothing to talk about. But the fact that the episode doesn't do that is what makes it so much more fascinating for me. So that's why I like talking.
I mean, partially the thing is, I don't view this show that way. There were interesting things that happen. Some of them cross into realism, but like most of the times, this is like surface level cartoon, which again, not to its detriment, it's a very fun one, but I don't think this show really has much to say about the world. That's how you view
the art. There's nothing wrong with you viewing the art that way. I'm just explaining that, like, I do view it on a deeper level, because I think there's a lot here to pick apart and talk about and think about. And regardless of, you know, if you want to look at it from a surface level, yeah, that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'll say it again and again and again. And that's why I love talking about the show with you, because it's like, when we do talk about a lot of the episodes, you know, you're really good at picking up on, like, you know, just what's there. And I feel like that's kind of one of the things that I like about, you know, our dynamics with the show far. I know I'm getting a little meta here, but like, you like talking a lot about like the technical aspects and like the techniques and like the details and stuff. And I love talking about the more interpretive side of the show. And that's why I think it makes for a really interesting podcast, because we're both giving two similar perspectives in our opinions and thoughts of most of the episodes, but the things that we kind of latch on to are different. And that's why, you know, again, I've said it before, but I really enjoy doing the show with you. And I think it's, you know, just so fascinating to continue talking about the episodes with you, because you view things in a way differently from me and vice versa, that it just makes it far more intriguing.
Yeah, sure. And I think like I have to say, I'm sure a lot of our opinions on the show are probably going to be, I think we've had some like unique, to our credit, some unique opinions on this that I haven't really heard, because like, I know, especially as we go on this season, I know there's a lot of episodes that are universally liked or hated that we usually have different opinions on a lot of the times.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And I mean, to be honest, universally liked or hated it's really more about, you know, it's really more about a vocal majority of people, not vocal majority, vocal minority of the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to those conversations, because it's like, you know, when I think back to season 1, I mean, I think the biggest disagreement we had was fuzzy logic. I don't think there's any other episode that really had us on differing.
And it was basically a similar conversation too about like morality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was pretty much the same thing. I was like, I saw this, like, I see this as a very cartoony universe, and I don't think I pretty much like I know Craig and like a lot of the other guys weren't really thinking about moral fibers when they made this.
Yeah, but
you could see that in it, though. I understand that.
That's just what I'm basically, my point is like that I appreciate the show so much, because even though the intent may or may not have been there for certain episodes, because there are some episodes where I would argue, yes, there was intent. Not every episode though. But I do think there were some episodes they took seriously and really wanted to talk about an issue. I think Equal Fights is an obvious example of that.
Yes, yeah.
But there's plenty of episodes where they weren't really going for that. But the fact that it's so well written that is still there's still the capability of thinking and talking about those ideas is what makes this show so extraordinary compared to other cartoons that, like, for example, Schoolhouse Rocked. Is there a lot to talk about when it comes to that sort of perspective? Not really. I mean, maybe there's a couple small things in there, but I don't really have a lot to really deeply talk about.
I mean, maybe you could say it's anti-truancy, but I don't know.
But like, you know, that sort of episode, like the thing with Powerpuff Girls that again is just so cool is like not every episode is just strictly like just pure slapstick gags and nothing else. Like there is substance in some way in a lot of the other episodes that like for example, Major Competition. At the end of the day, yeah, that's a silly episode where this macho man shows up as a fraud, and it's like you can look at that, but there's topics and ideas that you can branch off of using this as just a vessel to begin that conversation, or a catalyst, not a vessel. Well, I guess both words.
Well,
I can. But then there's an episode like this where it's like, okay, you can I guess talk about the idea of putting teens in kindergarten, maybe. I don't know, but that's a joke, that's a gag. I don't think there's a lot to talk about there.
Well, I think a lot of it too is like, I think of course I understand that, like I think any good storytelling usually, I think either intentionally or by accident, morality shows up in there, or like commentary about the world. That's just a part of storytelling,
or some sort of just idea or thought, even if it's not necessarily taking a biased like perspective or opinion on something. It's just saying, hey, consider this, you know, without necessarily giving an answer. And I actually prefer when shows and movies and stuff do that, where it's like, here's a concept, here's an idea. And this is why I like Christopher Nolan movies so much. Here's an idea. We're going to just explore a bunch of different things. We're going to kind of just hint at like a scenario or an idea and just kind of talk about it. We're not going to necessarily arrive on a concrete conclusion. We're going to leave it open up to interpretation for the viewer to kind of think of and digest and form their own opinion. That's what I love about Inception, especially. But there's a lot of other movies and shows out there that do that sort of thing. I think that's when writing is at its best, when it's capable of presenting a story or a scenario or idea that doesn't have a concrete 100%, this is factually the only conclusion you can draw from it. When there's the ability to have open discussion or open ideas. And I know we're getting off on a completely different tangent, but like that's just the sort of thing that I appreciate and I look for. And the Powerpuff Girls as a show just has so much of that in the first 4 seasons.
Yeah. Well, you know, actually,
as we get further along,
since we keep bringing this up, I think this is probably a good time. Like I found the quote, like I usually found, and I think it really supports both of what we're saying. Like, okay, so Craig McCracken did an interview with IGN for Men, which kind of weird. I don't understand why IGN for Men is a thing, but or used to be a thing. Weird, that's what? But like, the interviewer asked him, "Are you trying to instill any moral fibers into the storytelling?" And he said, "Not intentionally. We never go about writing an episode so we could preach something, because that's just the wrong motivation. If one happens to show up accidentally because we have a good story, then that's okay." So yeah, like, you know, that basically shows the perspective. Like this isn't a moral show, but yeah, obviously, if there's any great piece of writing, something shows up anyway.
Yeah,
and that is just a part of storytelling. Like a lot of times, like even if the creators aren't trying to be moral, like characters learning something too is also part of stories. Mm-hmm. Because like if you don't have them, like, you know, what are like you know, what's the story? So yeah.
No, completely.
Good discussion, my good man.
Indeed. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I think we're good to end this episode here. So just as a reminder to anyone who's listened this far in, we do have a Q&A section at the end of each podcast, so feel free to leave some questions for us if you would like. Next time we will be talking about season 2, episode 2. Very exciting pairing, I will say.
Oh my God.
We're going to be talking about Collect Her and Supper Villain, which I'm excited for.
God, yes.
Can't wait to talk about those episodes. So that'll be next time on our podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, you can check us out on Spotify or YouTube, depending on whichever platform you're listening on. You can find us on the other one, which is cool. Feel free to support us on both if you'd like. And we will be back next time with the 15th episode of
Support our hobbies.
So yeah, please, if you want, And by support, I mean just listen to it, because we're not asking for money. Just listen to our show if you like it. That's all.
Listen to us ramble.
Yeah. Hopefully you enjoy. And now that this podcast is releasing before my videos, hopefully it'll satisfy people that are like, hey, where's season 2? It's like, listen to the podcast and I'll put out the video when I'm ready. But yeah, so I'm working on the video though, so it'll be out someday.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we'll go ahead and end things off here, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
So once again, the day is saved. Destroyed. Thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. Well, actually the professor. Just because you're a genius doesn't make you a smart guy.
Blossom.